Hello, Serena, and welcome. I know we're here today to talk to Serena about spiritual life coaching and life coaching in general. So I thought you might enjoy this video because I know quite a few people have asked to see this video. So here we go. Anyway, Serena, over to you.
Thanks, Donna. Thank you so much for inviting me today. It's okay. Really sweet. What is a spiritual life coach?
Yes. So basically, I have a question here for you today, but I thought you might want to introduce yourself and explain a little bit. So anyway, how would you describe yourself and what do you offer?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can't kind of describe myself as a spiritual and well-being life coach, an astrologer, yeah, a tarot and angel card reader, and I'm also a Reiki master. But today I'm going to concentrate on the spiritual life coaching and well-being coach side of it. So what is a spiritual life coach? I've kind of thought about this, and to put it sort of succinctly without rambling on, because I could talk about so much, I thought I'd just put down a few little notes so that I don't ramble. So a spiritual life coach explores the deeper connections between you and the universe. They can help you to gain a new or a deeper understanding of the world you live in and the energies that flow around us, within us. People choose to work with spiritual life coaches for many reasons, but some of which I rather like to call the 3 W's. Who am I? What's my purpose? And why does it keep going wrong? Yeah. So we help you to connect to who you really are and not who others want you to be.
Fabulous. Which
a lot of us spend a lot of our lives doing and wasting our lives doing, you know, pleasing others, etc., etc. I could go on. A spiritual life coach works with you. We engage always in a dialogue. It's not me sitting there not saying anything and you talking like you would, as I understand it, and how I've experienced it in the past in counselling. So it is a dialogue. And we hope to help you to change in whichever way you want to redirect your life, to let go of things that have no further use or purpose to you, and to navigate your life better in order to then uncover your desires, take steps towards your goals, achieve your dreams, understand limiting beliefs that you kind of trail around with you, yes, year in, year out, remove those roadblocks within, and also to gain inner peace, a greater sense of self-worth. Self-worth is a biggie on the planet now. Very, very large percentage of those who inhabit Earth now are working with the self-worth issue. And ultimately is to build a solid foundation upon which to build the rest of your life. I talk a lot about a solid foundation, but maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on. But we always, spiritual life coaches, we always use a holistic, holistic approach, which takes me on to the well-being side of things. Good health is the foundation of everything. Right. Yeah. But good health encompasses mind, body, and spirit. Yeah. So I'm not just talking about you might have some sort of physical ailment which stops you doing A, B, C, and D. Yes. You know, it's the mental body and the emotional body, as well as the physical body. If they're out of sync, if they're not well, they're diseased, we have no foundation upon which to build. I'm not a health coach per se. I haven't trained to be a health coach, but I do encourage, endeavour to encourage people to take control of their health as a sort of kick-off, if needed. You know, obviously it depends who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
But with a clear energy field, we can unlock our full potential.
Wow, that's beautifully put. Thank you.
Yeah. If we start feeling truly well, we magically and miraculously start to see new opportunities and then have the va-va-voom in order to act upon them.
Yeah.
So some of the topics that we might discuss should you need to be looking at your health. So it's not a prerequisite, it just depends what your personal issues are.
Yeah.
But I would talk to people about, which we might talk about later in more detail, but food, drink, what you're watching, internet, listening to TV, horror dramas, you know, and people who you're mixing with is very, very prevalent now.
Yeah.
At this particular time. Friends, people in your office, your managers, your relationship, the gang you've always hung out with, you might find you're not resonating quite so well with now. This is all kind of the foundations of good health, but I can, you know, elaborate on that later if you wanted me to.
That would be really interesting to definitely find out why you would look at that. Why would you look at friends and food and yeah. People would like to know why would you look at that?
Yeah. I think that might be in another question of yours, is it?
Yes.
A bit later on.
Yeah. Yes. So we'll move on to the next question then, shall we?
Okay.
What is the difference between the ordinary life coaching and the spiritual life coaching?
Okay, well, obviously I can't be 101% sure because I haven't trained to be, you know, a life coach. I've trained to be a spiritual life coach.
Right.
First thing I'd like to say, really, though, is that we are all spiritual beings.
Definitely.
Having a human experience. That's our job here.
Yeah.
But we are spiritual beings. We come from spirit and we return to spirit.
Yeah.
The way I see it is that a regular life coach will help you achieve in whatever area you want to go forward with. You might go to a health coach, you might go to a business coach. I mean, there are all sorts of super duper coaches out there for people. And they'll help you move forward in life, but they may not be able to help you attain the spiritual fulfillment that you are looking for.
Yes. Yes.
For example, you may go to a regular life coach and get help with some goal, but it may not be sustained if you've not dealt with the fundamental issues that, such as deserving success, self-worth issues. You know, I like to think of spiritual life coaching as the foundation upon which we can build. Spiritual life coaches are experienced with helping people find their own sense of peace, love, purpose and self-worth, and understanding, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, you know, who am I? These questions can crop up at certain times in our life and, you know, help us to find our wholeness. I rather see the foundation being, I do a lot of visualization actually, and I see it like, you know, when you build a house, they have to pour in, you know, dig into the ground and pour in, I don't know, cement or whatever the foundation is, but it's something very solid upon which to build the house. And if they don't put a proper foundation in, the house can start to crack, or indeed even fall over.
Absolutely.
You know, if a strong wind came or you were in a hurricane area or whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? It's that sort of the foundations.
Yeah.
And you could go to an ordinary coach, say, I don't know, a business coach, and you want to, you have some goals about your business, or to start a business, and they can help you handsomely with that.
Yes.
But if you haven't dealt with the foundations, why do I want to do this? Who's it for? Is it for me? Do I feel confident? I feel I ought to be. Who says ought? That's another rabbit hole. We can go. I go down oughts and should. Hello. An hour later. So does that explain the kind of the difference?
It does explain it, because you have explained it beautifully, because you've explained about the foundations. I mean, obviously, if you don't have the strong foundations, then how can you hold anything up in a solid base? So yes, you've explained that beautifully. I feel that's really important what you've explained, because you've explained that if you go to a coach and they give you the solid foundations, then you can build up from that, because that's what you're coming to you for, to build yourself up. So you need those solid foundations from the beginning. So yes, you answered that. Thank you. And I'll move on to my next question now, but I think you've covered a lot of it, but it's still nice to repeat it again. What can people expect to get out of their session with you? So if someone was to come to you and talk to you on the phone, or ask you, Serena, I would like to come to you, but what would I get out of it? I think you've covered a lot of that, but it'd be nice to sort of answer a little bit more condensed and see what you come up with. Yeah.
Of course. I mean, as you say, I have covered a bit so far.
Absolutely.
But I would explain to somebody that I have a toolbox.
Yes.
And within that toolbox, I'll delve in there and bring out the tools that I need, that I feel are bespoke to you. Everything is tailor-made to you, obviously. I mean, that probably goes without saying. So, what might have suited you doesn't suit another person.
Absolutely.
I do use astrology.
Yes.
With my coaching. Running out the birth chart. Some of my clients have actually come to me for an astrological reading in the first place, and then have come on to become a coaching client. Now, let me say right from the offset, it is not prerequisite. We do not have to talk about astrology or look into it if you don't want to. But I'm just giving, for the sake of this discussion here today, some of the tools that I can use. And I find that the birth chart is an amazing way to know thyself.
Absolutely.
To do a really deep dive.
Absolutely.
Into some of the planetary aspects that you've chosen to come back with in this lifetime, because the moment I believe we choose the moment we're born. It's my belief. And that moment we're born, the birth chart is like taking a photograph of the heavens at that moment we came in. And as the great Swiss psychologist Dr. Carl Jung said, whatever is born in a moment in time takes on the energy of that moment in time. So I love to look at challenging aspects, lessons, blocks, and go quite deep into them in order to help people with what they've come to me to help them with, if that sounds a bit clumsy there. But and I'm not a past life regressionist per se, but we can, if you're interested, have a look and see what we might be bringing through from a past life, but maybe we didn't completely learn that time, and we're having to sort of have another look at this time, and how we can look at it in a different way, work with it in a different way. That sort of thing. As I say, I find the chart invaluable. I mean, I am an astrologer, and I look at the planets and where they are each day, and I get a great deal of comfort from that.
Some,
Um,
yeah. I was going to say, some people would say that that's a very unique extra layer that you can give to people, a very unique tool, which is really, really interesting and really helpful. I personally found it amazing that you can do that, to dive into the astrology side of it as well is an extra bonus, I feel. So I just thought I'd just let you know that. I thought that was amazing.
Thank you, Donna. It's interesting because, oh golly, I mean, I must be going back probably 30 years.
Yeah.
And a medium told me, it was around about the time actually I found astrology. I found astrology in about 1987,
Yeah.
the year of the harmonic convergence. So it was a very powerful year on the planet. And maybe a little time after that, and I was sort of going to the faculty in London and studying for my first exams. I saw a medium, and she said to me, you know, you won't just be an astrologer. And I was a bit sort of, oh, what's a shame. You said your strength is counseling people.
Yeah.
I thought, oh well, whatever, and forgot all about it. And I mean, donkeys years later, I started getting drawn to that side of it. And I've always been very interested in the chart, very much as, was it Plato who said, know thyself, really dig deep. There are loads of fabulous astrologers out there, some of whom I'm very honored to have as friends, who are doing sterling work with working with countries, governments, politicians' charts, you know, doing projections and some predictions, and fabulous, very exciting stuff. But that's not what I work with. I enjoy listening and joining in, but it's not what I spend I don't spend time on that. My interest in astrology is using it with coaching somebody and going quite deep to work with that as a tool, a self-help tool to, you know, find one's perfect life.
That's brilliant, because I think that's brilliant and interesting, because not everybody, if everybody was just working with governments and working with politicians and things, then there wouldn't be anybody to work with well, I can say the ordinary people, because we need people like you to be doing the counselling as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are other astrologers who.
But it's really good to hear that you're doing that and following your path, because that is brilliant, because then you're helping others to follow theirs. And I think that's really important.
Yeah. If I can pass people on to learn astrology, fabulous. I'll pass them on to the relevant teachers and schools and what have you. Yeah, more the merrier. I also use, some people love cards. Those can be a great aid, you know, visual.
Yeah.
What else? Breath work, color, nature, flowers, signs every day, meditation, journaling. Now, as you know, journaling's a big one for me that I recommend to people, and it's something that you can do between our sessions. Right. People can come to me as little or, you know, or as often as they like. There are no rules, hard, fast rules. It's just what suits you. But I found journaling a very, very powerful tool in my toolbox. Yes. See, some people don't like meditating, and that's absolutely fine. So why not journal instead? I mean, you can do both. I do both, but you know, it's journaling is like writing that journey into your heart. It's available for free. Mm-hmm. You can do it anytime to support yourself. All you need is a nice journal. You know, go to Asda and get a nice book, and then get a nice birthday card and stick it on the front and make it special. You know, it doesn't have to be expensive. Yeah. And a pen and a relaxed and open mind, and to open and enter your heart. And I find it's very much something very alchemical. Because as you take the thoughts, you notice crystals I use as well, by the way. This is my friend, crystal friend, for when I'm giving talks or coaching people. I'm fiddling with it. Typical Gemini, fiddle. but it's a beautiful, beautiful crystal. Yeah, something alchemical happens, I think, as you take those thoughts out of your mind. You're grounding them into your journal. You know, the thoughts come down your arm, through your hand, into your pen, and onto the paper, and magic happens.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, we've been taught to leave ourselves, you know, don't look within. You know, a lot of this is coming up to the surface now, and more people are talking about this out there.
Yes.
That we've been taught for eons. Don't look within. That's why they banned astrology way back.
Yes.
And burned card readers on the stake.
Yes.
You and I have probably been burnt many lifetimes.
Absolutely.
I would imagine. Because you know, it's far too dangerous. Far too dangerous to have people to think for themselves, you know. But
absolutely,
you know, I've got a couple of hours on that one.
Yeah.
But we've been taught to, you know, look outside of ourselves, find everything outside of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Which abandons our true needs. So no wonder, you know, so many of us are floundering. Journal writings is a super way to connect to ourselves, to look and observe our inner world. It's and I've written here, it's an effective empowerment tool to help work through problems, emotions, and to move towards positive change. Ask yourself random questions.
Such as?
Whatever's going on that day. Whatever draws you to sit down and journal.
Okay.
Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? What's it reminding me of? You know, be your own counselor. Absolutely. Your own coach, your own mentor. I
mean, those tools,
you know, there are many ways. Sorry.
So I was going to say the tools you're giving us are absolutely brilliant, and it's really good that you said because a lot of us, I don't know, a lot of us get anxious because we feel we have to meditate, and a lot of us struggle to meditate. So it's great that you gave us an alternative to meditation, and I think that's something that people would really resonate with. You're saying there's an alternative to meditation. I think for a lot of us, we think to truly go on a spiritual journey, we must be meditating, we must be like Buddha, we must be doing all these, you know, all these special things we must do. And suddenly you're saying, you know what, you can get pen and paper, go within and start writing. That is a very powerful tool that you've just shared with everybody. And I really appreciate it. You've really explained that beautifully why. And I just wanted to say that to you. So. Yeah.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, Donna. Yeah, and it's interesting because it can bring up, obviously, a lot of stuff that you know you can discuss with me the next time you know we have a session. So yeah, I mean, but let's not disregard meditating. Meditation it's scientifically proven that it can improve your health and well-being within as little as 5 days.
Wow.
So I mean, it is a life-changing process.
Yes.
And 5 minutes a day can make a difference.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I mean, breathing's good as well, which you can either combine with meditating or do separately.
Yes.
Now, I've been bustling around here this morning, you know, preparing myself for this, printing out my notes, etc. And I felt, you know, 10 minutes before, or rather I felt I must schedule in 10 minutes before to sit quietly and burn my lovely patchouli and light my candle, which I have here, beautiful candle. And I did some breathing because I knew my mind was very busy. Yeah. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to calm that. Yes. Because I knew we were going to be doing an interview. Yes. So the best way to sort of shut my mind out was to do some deep breathing. So, you know, I started with breathing in for the count of 4, a little pause, and then breathing out for the count of 5. You know, and that sort of thing. So I just sort of pulled my energy down. I made sure I grounded myself. Talk to people a lot about grounding too in my sessions. It's terribly important, grounding and earthing, which are 2 different things. That's something I help people with. Yeah, breath, very important. So that was a good substitute for doing some meditation. So it just clear. And while I'm counting, my busy mind can't start thinking about, you know, what I've got to buy in Brighton this afternoon.
Yes.
You know, which I'm going to be doing. So yeah, and of course I often have talked to you, I think about the 3 deep breaths that I always say take you back to your factory setting.
Absolutely, and they've worked for me plenty of time.
You know, when we come in, we're born, we're perfect, you know, perfectly made. And then, you know, we go on, we start getting battered around by life and etc. etc. But so I call, if you know, if you're terribly stressed or frustrated or angry in a supermarket queue or a traffic jam or in a meeting or something, and someone's really getting on your wick, and you can feel yourself, you know, is to do 3 deep breaths, very slowly. You know, really breathe right down from the dantian, breathe right up, put your shoulders back and feel that breath filling every part, excuse me, of your lungs, because we don't use nearly anything amount the amount of our lungs capacity that we have, and then, you know, slowly breathing it out, slowly through your mouth.
Yes. Do
that 3 times and you be surprised. It's absolutely amazing. The aggravation, the frustration, the whatever it is, has gone.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know, if you're in a difficult meeting or something, excuse yourself to go to the loo and do it in the loo, and then you'll come back all smiley.
Yes.
Even though you're not, you know, but you've lost that, you know. So that's quite a good little sort of tip from day to day. But meditation, if you can do meditation, it is a super tool. Yeah. Because we can really calm ourselves. And when we are in that quiet place, we're in balance, and we allow more of the information, the more of what our higher self is trying to get through to us and tell us.
Okay, so would you like to elaborate a bit more on what our higher self is?
Well, that's a difficult one, because some people call it your soul.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We've all got our own ideas on that.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe, you know, higher self, soul, the part of us that never dies. It's pure energy. Yeah. So that, you know, once we shed our physical body and go off somewhere else on our journey, the soul stays intact.
Absolutely. I think it's important.
You can never dissipate energy. You can change energy into something else, but
absolutely.
And that is with us through our incarnations, I believe.
Yes.
And that is the part that we want to listen to.
Yes. Yes.
That is the part of us that knows everything that ever has been, is, and ever will be. That's our own little private Akashic record, really. Yes. You know, our own library. And we all have access to it. Every single person on the planet. It's just a matter of whether you choose to want to go down that road, to try and quieten yourself and spend time to make contact with, which is often what we do when we meditate.
Yes.
Then we might call in our guides, we might call in our guardian angels, we might call in whatever you want to, and have a dialogue. And often in the quiet, we can ask questions and answers can come. And this is what is coming from one's soul, one's higher self. Sometimes if I'm feeling I'm wanting to pull a card, something's happened that, what's all that about, I'm going to pull a card. And I often say, what does my soul want me to learn from this experience? Yeah. And it's, you always get the truth. And then start journaling. Fabulous. Brilliant. Embellish on it. There are all sorts of things you can do.
Yes. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah. But yes, breath work, meditation, journaling, yoga stretches, qigong, tai chi, spending a lot of time in nature to connect to your higher self, color. If people have busy lives, rushing to work and all the rest of it,
yes,
and not as lucky as I am that I can go perhaps the odd afternoon a week and go and sit in a wood.
yes,
you know, someone sort of doing the 9 to 5, etc. You can do all sorts of tidbits to help yourself to keep your vibration high, and what you wear, the colors you choose to wear, are very, very important, I think, very helpful. And the colors indeed you choose to have around you. I mean, the blandness of the fashion that has been of late, I think, what a shame.
yes,
Because it's dulling people down.
yes, yes. That is
So I hope that's
I felt that you covered so much in just what you've said. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about in the sense? I have some questions here for you, but
well, you better do some questions.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, the questions you seem to have covered, because I was going to ask you about when you recommended that I change my diet to gluten-free to raise my vibrations, and I was going to ask you why you recommended that to me. I wondered if you could discuss a bit more about that. For instance, that was just for me personally. Like you said, you do bespoke for different people. So that was just happens to be for me, because I was very bad at eating lots of sugar and crisps and chips and things. But obviously you tuned into that and discovered it and said, well, wouldn't it be for your vibrations to rise it up by having gluten-free? So I have done that, and I've felt much better since. So I was just wondering if you could sort of elaborate a bit more on that, why that was to be the case.
It's actually quite simple, and it's just probably something I haven't mentioned, is that I'm psychic.
Yes, absolutely.
I have a very strong intuition, and I can't remember for sure, because it was a while back, wasn't it?
Back in May.
And it may well have been that I was picking something up in the 6th and 12th houses of your charts, which are the health axis. But I don't think I've got your chart to hand, to be honest with you. I did rather have a tidy up, which is a rare occurrence.
I would have brought mine.
Tidying up, you can't find anything, can you? I've not much Virgo in my chart, as you probably gather here, but I'm a closet Virgo. Virgo at the bottom of my chart. I'd like to be very, very organized, but neat and tidy. So anyway, but I digress. But I do just intuitively pick things up as people are talking to me.
Yeah.
And I'm very blessed to say that I tend to be kind of spot on. So I was picking up something, you know, in your physicality, if you will, that was dulling you.
Yes.
And food is a classic.
Yes.
Food and drink, I mean, it's very prevalent now on the planet, because since the 50s, obviously we don't want this to get knocked off YouTube, this nice interview, but should we put it like this, the governments and the food manufacturers haven't really been too bothered about what nutrition goes into our food for us. It's more about profit. And I think most people have cottoned on to that now. So a lot of our food, 50s onwards, has got progressively more polluted.
Yes.
Dead, if you like.
Yes.
I mean, you know, packet food, it's dead, basically. There's, you know, they put all this fancy stuff in the list on the back, but the more that they put on that list, the more you need to put it straight back on the shelf again, you know?
Yes.
So food and also drink, and you know, even water. Be careful with water. Try and get, I mean, there are all sorts of super fancy distilled water and all sorts of stuff you can buy these days. But if you can't afford that, get a very, very good filter.
Yes.
I've got one that filters out the chlorine.
Yes.
And the chlorine is a classic one to stop us connecting with our spiritual selves. Yes. It affects our pineal gland.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, ditch the old fluoride toothpaste. Get, yes, you know, get
that.
You know, and you know, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
All these things can dull our vibration, and then we wonder why we feel low in mood, why we can't get motivated, why we start something and we're half-hearted, or it doesn't work, or we're trapped, you know, the same old problems again, and this, that, and the other. So much is to do with what we put into our physical bodies. Yeah. But to go back to your original question, I picked up that you were probably eating consistently rather a lot of stuff you shouldn't have been.
Yes, I find you very intuitive.
Sorry.
I love it, because for me, I get my answers because I'm always full of questions. So I always feel when I come to you, I get my answers, which helps me progress on my evolutionary path. So I'm more than happy with that. So I have one more. Yeah, you mentioned grounding, and also you've introduced me to something that I've been sharing with a lot of other people, was a grounding and protection prayer. You told me to do you advised me to do a grounding and protection prayer, and because I recorded the session, I copied the words that you'd said, and I actually turned them into a text, which I found I've been sending to lots and lots of people out there, because they've really.
What was that? What was the prayer? I don't remember that.
You said to me to call in Archangel Michael for protection, and Archangel Sandalphon for the Earth Star Chakra, and to hold my roots in the ground. Well, I turned that into a text for my daughter, because she was really wanted something for work. And then the next thing, my friend said to me, do you know anything about a grounding and protection prayer? So I sent it to her. Then I've sent it to at least 5 or 6 people now. The Serena
lovely.
The grounding prayer. Yes. So I was thinking that thanks to you, I've helped lots of people with this grounding and protection prayer. So I was wondering if you could explain why a grounding and protection prayer is so important.
Well, to ground each day now, the vibration on the planet is escalating.
Yes.
It's been predicted for eons that this planet has gone through a long period of being a 3-dimensional planet, and we're moving through 4th dimension and ultimately the 5th dimension, and where the light quotient coming in onto the planet now is coming in at an alarming speed, and a lot of us are feeling symptoms, a lot of ringing in the ears, dizziness, fatigue, sometimes nausea, etc. It's nothing to be alarmed about. It is the energies heightening as we move through into a new paradigm. It's not woo-woo, it's not a fairy tale, it is real.
Yeah.
It's an experiment too. It's never been done before, as I understand it, in as much as that we are going to stay on this planet as physical beings as she goes into a 5th dimensional vibration. Generally, you'd be leaving your body and going off.
Yes.
You know, we wouldn't be able to sustain it. But what's happening is that our bodies are changing.
Yes.
They're going from carbon to crystalline, etc. In order to help dissipate some of these symptoms that some people, well, a lot of people actually are getting now, is to ground yourself every morning. I find as often as I can that I will kind of as I swing my legs out of bed and put them on the floor, I'll just pause for a minute and feel my energy go down, 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 and to about a foot beneath my feet, where we have the Earth Star chakra.
Absolutely.
I don't think we've got time today to go into all the chakra system, but obviously that would be part of spiritual life coaching as well, another tool in the box, if you will, to get those all balanced. But the Earth Star chakra is part of the higher vibrational chakras that we are all resonating to now, and each chakra has an archangel assigned to it. And of course, for the Earth Star, we have Archangel Sandalphon. So I call him in and I say, please, Archangel Sandalphon, will you ground me into the fifth dimensional vibration for today? You can say whatever you like, but just a little example.
Yes. And
just kind of feel it happening, and it's lovely.
It is.
And then you can bring the light up and right up, and then I take it right up, and then I bring it down again and let it settle in my heart. Going out and about, where Archangel Michael comes into it, is that he's renowned for his deep blue cloak of protection. So that if you're going out and about, I mean, there are many, many protection tools out there, but I can't, time's running out here. And we I can't go into all the different ways you can protect yourself. But a quick, simple one is before you go out to the shops, on the bus, on the tube, whatever you're doing. I call Archangel Michael, please protect me with your deep blue cloak of protection, and feel it whirling around you. Feel it. Absolutely. Yeah. So does that answer your question?
Yes, I just wanted to sort of outline. I just wanted a brief outline to explain to people why protection and grounding is so important, and you've actually
yeah.
So thank you.
It's very because the thing is, I mean, we are all one.
Yes.
And this is what really each and every one of us we're all under the same sky, but we've all got a different story.
Yes.
Going on at any one time. And just walking onto the bus, people on there might be going through some horrendous things. And of course we have compassion.
Yes.
But we don't want their energy fields to leak into ours. Because we get home with the shopping and wondering why we got such a stinking headache.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I learned that lesson very, very early on. Very early on. I used to get onto a train going up to London. I can't remember what I was doing, study or something. And I set off in the morning, bright and chirpy, happy as Larry. And within about sort of 15, 20 minutes on the train, I'd suddenly start feeling absolutely terrible, no energy, just my energy would go down, 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 down. I sort of had to learn from that. I spoke to a spiritual teacher about it and was put right, that I definitely need to protect myself as I go out and about.
Yes.
That
was brilliantly put. And I have seen people going on tubes and trains and buses falling asleep. And suddenly you often think, oh, that's because of work, but they don't often probably realise that actually they're picking up other people's energy as well. So that's a useful thing to highlight to people, to let them know that other side effects. Anyway, I don't know if you have any more things you'd like to talk about. But for me, you covered so much there, and I'm very, very grateful for your time, and I really enjoyed that.
Well, I hope it's been. Well, should we just pull a card for everybody before we finish?
That would be absolutely wonderful. Ending on a note of pulling a card would be amazing. Thank you.
Be nice, isn't it? Should we do the normal thing? I'll do the shuffle, and then I'll ask you to tell me when to stop, sort of thing.
And
I thought I've got a whole basket full of cards here. Start a card shop actually, and collecting them for 30 years.
Wow.
Thought I'd do the Ascended Master.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
one
beautiful.
day. Yeah, which I rather like. So, giving them a shuffle here. Asking, calling in the Ascended Masters and asking what everybody here who's listening to this video might like to know, might help them, inspire them.
Absolutely.
When you're ready, Donna, you can tell me to stop shuffling.
I'll go into the collective and I'll say now.
Thank you.
Let's see what we've got.
Lovely. Now, this is a change glasses moment.
Okay.
We are getting stronger glasses on. Oh, I can see myself now. Positive changes, Parvati.
Oh, wow. How beautiful is she?
She's rather beautiful, isn't she?
Really just.
Positive changes.
Oh.
Gosh, let's hope that I'm going to read the relevant page, but let's hope that what we've been chatting about this morning will encourage
People
to make some positive changes.
Absolutely. How perfect.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can read them now. I've got my big lamps on. Your likes and dislikes have changed, and you've outgrown situations that once appealed to you.
Wow.
These are positive developments, signaling your spiritual growth. Some of these situations are blessings in disguise, as they're pushing you to make necessary and positive changes. You may feel pushed beyond your comfort zone as multiple areas of your life shift and flux, yet the universe always stands ready to support you with whatever you ask for. Let go and enjoy this ride, because it truly is for the very best. Now, there are some additional, if that doesn't mean anything to you,
yes,
there are some additional meanings for this card.
Okay.
Let go of procrastination or perfectionism. Hello, we know that one, don't we?
We do.
Break your major goals into baby steps and take one step at a time. Since Parvati is the goddess of mountains, this could be a message to retreat or move to the mountains. Revamp your schedule so that you devote regular time to your priorities. Be assertive in saying no to anything that diverts you from your path.
How beautiful and how perfect.
She's very lovely. Isn't that perfect? I mean, I just find cards are absolutely spot on.
Always.
Every time.
Every time.
I mean, they say it how it is. Lovely. I shall have this up on my propped up today so I can enjoy that.
Oh.
So
well,
I hope everybody enjoyed that.
I think we have. That was really interesting and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Serena. And for now, we'll end the video. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.